As fall approaches, we're reminded of a time not too long ago when empty shelves plagued our grocery stores. Sadly, the food shortages are once again haunting us, thanks to a convergence of global crises. Welcome to the Grocery Store Roulette of 2023. Today, we prepare you for what lies ahead by revealing the grocery products that may soon become elusive. The fall of 2023 is unfolding eerily similar to the challenging days of the pandemic. Once again, our grocery stores are grappling with supply chain issues, and there's no one reason for it. The roots of this food crisis run deep. The cause list starts from the disrupted supply chain triggered by COVID-19, followed by the persistent global energy crisis that reigned for the next couple of years, followed by the geopolitical turbulence of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which eliminated a significant portion of global food production, and perhaps the most serious long-term issue at hand, the undeniable influence of climate change has had its shadow on agriculture. Heat waves and mass floods have hit almost all major crop producers in the last 2 years. However, there is a twist. Unlike the prequel, this time it's a different kind of struggle. The shortages aren't uniform but scattered throughout the aisles, meaning that a select few product categories are about to become rare. Which ones? Well, that's exactly what we'll find out in this video. Let's break out the bottle earlier in this list to prepare you for what's coming. If you had your share of bubbly on New Year's Eve, consider it a fortunate treat. 2023 is shaping up to be a bit dry on the champagne front. Consumers all over the country are going to have a rough time celebrating without it. There are two main reasons behind the looming shortage. A huge surge in demand followed by a pandemic led to a plummet, and climate change disrupts production a lot more than expected. Back in 2020, COVID and quarantines put a hold on the world celebrating, well, anything. As a result, the committee Interprofessional du Vin de Champagne set a lower production cap. But a year later, the tables turned and the demand soared again. Unfortunately, unlike other industries, making champagne takes a lot of time. The producers are working to re-establish normal production schedules, but the bitter truth is that the shortage may persist for several years. You'd think a product as essential as bread would have several contingencies for crises. Unfortunately, that's not the case, since we live in a globally dependent world. The ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia has sent shockwaves through the supply chain. Together, these two make up for 20% of the world's cereal grain production. As per the McKinney report, crop production in Ukraine could even decline further to a staggering 45% in this year's harvesting cycle. This disruption in the breadbasket of the world has had a domino effect on bakery goods like bread. And to make things more difficult, India has imposed a ban on wheat exports, citing the need to safeguard its own food security. Rice, a dietary staple for many around the world, is facing a troubling shortage. The global supply of rice has been squeezed due to a convergence of factors. The biggest reason is the mass flooding in China and Pakistan, two of the biggest rice exporters. Climate change affected their crops like never before. In fact, in 2022, the majority of Pakistan's agricultural land was underwater. And of course, the war in Ukraine has driven up demand for rice. People are seeking alternatives to Ukrainian wheat exports. The price of rice has surged by nearly 10% since the previous year, which is making it increasingly scarce. However, the news of relief for rice is that this shortage is only expected to last through 2023. Sriracha enthusiasts may find themselves in a spicy situation this year. A shortage looms over the beloved condiment. Hoi Fong Foods, the renowned producer of sriracha, faces a chili pepper shortage stemming from last year's drought in Mexico. The company says that it's working to prevent future shortages, but currently it cannot provide a specific timeline for when sriracha will be back in stock. And now, the product is scarce. The prices are going sky high. Reports suggest that some bottles are being sold for as much as $70 online on platforms like eBay. Looks like the people are going to have to find alternatives for some spicy kicks. The persistent shortage of baby formula has been a source of concern for parents over the last year. Unfortunately, it is expected to continue further than expected. This crisis traces its roots back to a series of setbacks that began in February 2022. Abbott, the largest infant formula manufacturer in the U.S., temporarily halted production and issued a sweeping recall due to the discovery of bacteria at one of their facilities. quantities. By May of 2022, the situation had escalated with more than 40% of the usual formula stock unavailable. The gravity of this situation even prompted the White House to intervene. The Operation Fly formula distributed reserves to alleviate the shortage. As of today, the situation has improved from its critical state. However, it still remains challenging to stabilize the market and return stock levels to those of 2021. Climate change is really out to settle its beef with humanity. The beef market is facing a prolonged shortage, one that'll be lasting well into the coming year. The root cause of this issue can be traced back to the droughts experienced in 2022. The droughts led to a lack of sufficient grass for cattle to feed on. Cost of feed soared, and the farmers were prompted to increase culling for the year and sell early. This unfortunate decision has left fewer cows available for the upcoming years, and the beef that people will find is obviously going to be expensive. Eggs are arguably the glue of the American diet. Yet its supply is facing a substantial challenge. According to the CDC, the 2022 avian flu outbreak was the biggest in American history. By the end of 2022, this devastating outbreak had led to the deaths of over 49 million birds across 46 states. The deaths were either directly from the virus or as a result of culling infected birds. Now there's a significant shortage, and the prices are going through the roof. In California alone, a dozen eggs carry the price tag nearly 3 times higher than last year. The effects of scarcity of eggs are expected to resonate into 2023 and possibly beyond. Everything canned, from beer to pet food, hasn't yet broken out of the shortage curse. The canned food industry crisis traces its roots back to the early days of the COVID pandemic. The at-home consumption of beer and a rise in pet adoptions depleted aluminum stocks. Adding to the complexity, China reduced its aluminum processing to combat pollution, which further impacted production by up to 20%. But this isn't the only factor that left canned food shelves empty. It is joined by ongoing supply chain issues, labor shortages, and heightened demand. And there's no definitive answer to the industry as to when things will cool down. Most believe the shortages are going to last well beyond the end of this year. Cooking oils of almost all types face significant battles with shortages. For one, there's a growing demand for biofuels as a replacement for fossil fuels. This is leading to the unavailability of cooking oils like soybean oil, canola oil, and others. Second, much of the globally traded sunflower seed and oil hail from Ukraine, making it a key player in the edible oil market. But there are war-induced disruptions in edible oil supply chains. Thus, prices across the globe are climbing. Third, Indonesia, the world's leading palm oil producer, is grappling with internal issues. It has halted exports to control domestic prices. And lastly, the shortage crisis is after your sweet tooth as well. Sugar is facing a potential global shortage, with various major producers grappling with low supply. India, a major sugar producer, has opted not to increase its quota on sugar exports. This decision aligns with a broader trend caused by the climate and supply chain challenges. Other major sugar producers also contend with diminished sugar supplies. This includes Brazil, Europe, Mexico, Thailand, China, and Pakistan. Though it's unlikely that sugar will completely disappear in the coming months, prices will definitely go higher. Overall, there's no need for panic buying, but it's important to be mindful of the potential shortages on the horizon. This way you can take your proactive steps to ensure you have the products you particularly need. Consider stocking up on essential items when you can. It'll help you navigate through the challenges that lie ahead.